Hi, my name's Don. Welcome back to Project Urtle. In this episode we'll complete the major part of the works required to complete the body. As with previous major panels, this starts with abrading the surfaces to give a better bond with the adhesives, and then pumping an awful lot of terracin onto the many mating faces here. As you can see, there's a lot of plumbing work has gone on in this back area, and we'll cover that in another episode, so pretend you haven't seen it yet. Once again, Adrian came over to give me a hand to lift this panel in, and I'm really grateful for his help. It's made the world of difference. I could not have stood these up by myself. Here Adrian's just reaching inside through the plumbing access hatch to make sure that the tenons that are in the back of the ensuite wall lock into the mortises in the back wall of the camper. Then we placed a few clamps around where we could get access to panel and chassis sections, just to hold it all nice and square.
Now, did you check to see whether the top was lined up?
No, I haven't.
You might need to give it a tappity tap if it's not.
Down about 3 mils high on this one,
Yeah.
and the other one's flush. How close can we get there?
I think you can get in there, all right? Well, this looks alright here.
Yeah.
So, don't need to stress too much about that.
No.
I'll put some sticky tape on. Yeah, start at the bottom and work up, I reckon.
Having achieved placement and stabilising it, it's just a matter of spending time cleaning up all the glue squeeze out. Okay, well that was pretty much the last of the major body panels. Now it's time to start concentrating on the hatches. This one is the small hatch that closes up the opening in that back wall where all the plumbing is. The only purpose for this hatch was to provide access to the plumbing area for maintenance if ever any of the drains blocked or the water supply lines needed a tweak. That was there to do it. The panels have been pre-cut and the edges routed so that this extrusion that Styromax provides just slips on, glued on, and then I've been placing 2 pop rivets adjacent to each other at each corner to lock it all in place. Now it's time to put in the door catch, and I forgot to film that. It's a very nice little catch system, flush mounted, lockable, and set up so it's adjustable, so you can adjust the clamping force on the rubbers. Next it was time to hang the hatches in the door jambs, and as you can see, I've spaced the door evenly inside the jamb with just little packing pieces of plywood and cardboard, etc. That keeps it looking nice, even gaps around the doors. To finish off this episode, I thought I'd add a couple of little tips and tricks that I've learnt or discovered during the project. This is the glue we've been using to glue the panels together with. It comes in these foil sausages, and you use a special sausage gun. Products made by Henkel, which are the same people that make Loctite, and it's called Terrason MS939, and I'm kind of impressed with it. It's a atmospheric moisture pickup that sets it off, and so if you keep the moisture out of it, it'll stay flexible and usable. And I'll show you my little trick for keeping tubes that I'm only part way through. This is a little trick that I've been doing. It seems to work fairly well. These sausages are fairly large, and most of the jobs you do are just fairly small area. And the Terrason sets by absorption of moisture from the atmosphere. So I've been closing the end of the nozzle after each use with a bit of alfoil. Alfoil is, as near as damn it, perfectly impervious to water vapour. So if you keep the water vapour out, the glue shouldn't go hard in the nozzle. So far I've used only the one nozzle. In fact, this is the first time I've ever used a sausage gun, and I'm really quite impressed with how little waste you get, how little leftover waste packaging you get. It's just a tiny little slug of aluminium foil when you're finished, and I'm reusing the same nozzle. I've gone through that's number six tubes so far, and this one's almost empty. Whereas if I'd been using the standard 300ml cartridges, I'm pretty sure I would have wasted more, and then you've got all that packaging waste, which ain't good. So that's pretty cool. Because there's a reasonably large quantity of aluminium mouldings to fit to this body shell, around doors, around the edges, around the outside edges, I decided I'd splurge, well, hardly splurge, on a little baby drop saw. It's a
an Azito brand, one of Bunnings' home brands, and it was only $100. It's got a tungsten carbide toothed blade on it with relatively fine teeth. The blade is intended for cutting wood, but it does a really quite good job of cutting through aluminium. Aluminium is not much harder than hardwood, and well and truly softer than tungsten carbide. And eventually, I suppose, it'll blunt the blade, but not before I finish this job. So I think so far it's been a good investment. It's only small, so it can't take really big extrusions in there to cut. And so I don't know yet. I might have difficulty cutting the extrusions for the pop top, but I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. In the meantime, I've got a nice little tool that's helping speed this job up, make it reproducible. I find that after every glue up job, I've got a fair bit of squeeze out of glue, and rather than let that go to waste, I've been saving it up, and when I'm finished gluing up, this is only a tiny bit, normally I've got a lot more than that, I save it up, and I'm using it to fill the relief cuts on the back of the front curve. It'll stiffen it up when it's all finished. If I've got any glue or anything else left over, I'll fill the rest of it, but in the meantime this is all I need, and it gives me a place to put it. Makes me feel like I'm not wasting it.